Guys, so today I'm going to be talking about a plant called the Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma. I mentioned it in one of my plant favorites for May. Often mistaken with a philodendron, which I thought it was a philodendron, or a Monstera, which is not a Monstera. Philodendrons and Monsteras are native to South America, but this plant is native to Thailand and Malaysia, pretty much in Asia in general. So I'm going to talk about how I care for my plant, Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma, or the mini Monstera, how I care for this plant, how often do I water it, and if you have it, should you water it often or should you not water it often. Pretty much all the little details that I have learned from this plant, you guys are going to learn in this video. So thank you for watching and just keep on watching. So this is my Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma. You can see the leaves are kind of similar to a Monstera philodendron, but it's really not. It's actually its own little species here. I'm gonna scoop back a little bit so you guys can see this plant. It's massive. I've got it quite large from the get-go, but it's actually doubled in size ever since I had it. And I have it in a room here faced with a lot of bright light because I have a huge window in my room, so it gets a lot of bright light all the time. And I feel like it likes it. But let me tell you guys about the watering cycle and the brightness in my room and how it's affecting this plant. So like I said, I have this plant in a huge, next to a window, but it's huge and it gives a lot of light. And I have it next to a humidifier, and I feel like the brightness of my room and the humidity kind of gives this plant a lot of area roots. I'm gonna get closer. You can see right here, it has a lot of area roots all the time. It keeps growing area roots all over. Also, the size of the leaves has actually changed since I moved it into my room here with a lot of bright light. You can see how the little leaves used to be like this, but ever since I moved it here, the leaves started to getting much larger, which gives me a clue that this plant grows larger leaves the more bright light that it gets. And if you have it like in a dimmed room or like maybe a bathroom where it doesn't really get a lot of bright light, it might put off like smaller leaves. So I think that this leaf produces large leaves with the more brightness that it gets. So like I said, I like to keep this plant on the moist side. I like to keep it not wet, but on the moist side. I don't really like to have this plant dried out. So you can see the soil for this plant that I have it. It's kind of moist. Hopefully you guys can see. I don't think you can because the plant is huge, but yeah, the soil is a little bit moist, not wet, but a little bit moist. This also is not a hanging plant, or so I think it's not, or I don't treat it as such. I like to have this plant be a climber, so I'm gonna be buying a totem pole soon to have this plant climb on it, and so that I could have it, you know, like a huge stack of Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma. But right now I have some bamboo sticks around it, and that kind of helps support this plant because this plant can grow quite massive. It grows huge, kind of like a Monstera, but it grows really big. Another thing that I like about this plant as opposed to the Monstera, which a lot of people confuse, is this plant does not produce the fenestrations. So fenestrations, I'll show you guys what the fenestrations are. A lot of people think that fenestrations are those little splits that the leaf produces. No, fenestrations are not the splits. Fenestrations are the little holes that appear inside the splits inside the leaf. So a Monstera produces splits, plus it also produces little holes inside, and those little holes are fenestrations. Also, something that's different from this plant than a regular Monstera is that the splits are completely, you know, cut the leaf. Monstera has the splits, but the leaf still remains attached to itself, if that makes any sense. This plant, like I said, is a really fast grower. It grows quickly all the time. I particularly notice its growing season, it's during the summer for me. Starting in April, this plant started to grow huge. It never really grew. I got it in around December, November. Never really grew, but ever since April hit in, it started growing like crazy. We're already on pretty much on June, and this plant has quite almost double in size, and that makes me really happy. Part of the way that I think that it's growing is because it's like its new room, my room, with a lot of bright light. But that's all I could give you guys for now, is that give this plant plenty of bright light and keep this plant moist, and it should thrive. Humidity is not really needed, I don't think it is, but definitely it's an easy plant to care for, I noticed. And if you tend to water your plants often and you kill them, you guys probably won't kill this plant if you water it too often. But anyways, this is it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys have a good one. Stay safe, and see you guys in the next one.